Good evening. You're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Andy, Pod Job standing by.
This is Tracy, Pod Tracer standing by.
This is Lexi, Pod May standing by.
All ships to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about Star Wars in movies, streaming, animation, books, themed experiences, and your art and inspiration from a galaxy far, far away. Today's flight plan includes The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 11, and The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1. And for all of you out there, all comm channels are open. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find us on YouTube, like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you know when we have new content. But first, I'll be your squad leader for today. I'm Andy Lowe, aka the Chinese Pirate, director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, and fight choreographer. On my wing is Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy, the hot nerd girl. I'm very excited about my shirt today. I'm pretty sure my dad got this for me. It says, "May the mass times acceleration be with you," and it just makes me happy. Even though it's not the most flattering shirt on me, I don't care.
And on my other wing is Lexi.
Hi guys, Lexi, multidisciplinary artist, Deathwalker in training. That is a thing you can Google, and very tired caterer.
And joining us later will be Jason from Beyond Forever Studios. You can look him up coming in. And of course, with Rodney on the flight deck. And of course, just remember, we are just one squad in the fleet. We're part of the Geekish Network. That's right here on the Geekish Network on YouTube and on Facebook. As foils to attack position, we're going in. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So we got all this oodles of content after so long.
Yeah, the winter's over. Metaphorically speaking. Oh, and Andy, you missed this, but I was really excitedly telling Tracy and Rodney that I found a really cool relative. As I mentioned on the show, I'm a really cool relative. I am adopted, as I think I've mentioned on the show before. Like, one of the reasons I love Star Wars, because it's all these adopted kids doing awesome things. And the Lee in my family name is Robert E. Lee, which has always made me a little awkward because the man was a slave owner. Sure. And on a whim, I searched, is Sir Christopher Lee related to Robert E. Lee? And he is. So I'm related to Count Dooku, you guys. And I like that a lot better.
Do you happen to know, like,
the man with the golden gun?
Like, are you guys like sixth cousins or something? Like, do you happen to know
that? I haven't like dug deep enough to look at the actual family tree, but I know that Harper Lee was a distant cousin, so I know it's a cousin. He's a cousin.
That's another good one.
Yeah, Harper Lee and Sir Christopher Lee. So like
I feel like those two like make up for Robin.
cancel out. Yeah.
They kind of cancel him out, you know.
So but yeah, so that was really cool. I like busted out of my bedroom and told my boyfriend, I was like, I'm related to Sir Christopher Lee.
Saruman himself.
Yeah.
Scaramanga. That's awesome. That's cool.
And the only person in Lord of the Rings who actually knew J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah. Very cool. All right.
Really fun.
So we're gonna get started into stuff because obviously we have two shows that are releasing right now simultaneously. We still have a few episodes of The Bad Batch running. We also have The Mandalorian, which is finally back after 2 years, which as we were talking about, it's kind of crazy to think it has been like 2 years since we've had new episodes of The Mandalorian. We had The Bad Batch we had Boba Fett last year, and
Mandalorian 2.0
and Mandalorian Light, right?
I can't count. Rodney knows this. He had to correct my episodes today.
But we're gonna get into that. We're gonna start with The Bad Batch, episode 11. But before I do, just a quick little reminder for those of you who are Disney Parks fans, because I know we've talked about this a little bit before. They have announced the Star Wars nights at Disneyland. If you're not aware, so these are basically after dark events. They have they close the park to the general public and open up to a special ticket, and they offer kind of special foods, a lot of different character meet and greets that you don't get to see during regular park hours. Like they've invited like droid builder groups. They'll probably bring back Hyperspace Mountain. We've seen like Ezra Bridger and Sabine Wren and various other very rare characters with meet and greets.
Wait, how long is this going? When does it start and when does it end?
So there are 4 nights. This is on May 2nd, May 4th, May 8th, and May 11th. And it
Did they do this last year too?
They've been doing it for a few years now. I want to say since they did the Lucasfilm purchase. It's kind of based on the Star Wars Celebration days that they used to do in Florida at Hollywood Studios.
I think it was matched up with Celebration in Anaheim this past year because I feel like people I knew were hopping from one to the other.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically 9 p.m. till 1 a.m. And it is a pricey ticket because it's Disney. Ticket prices range between $149 and $169 for guests ages 3 and up. And
for 4 hours?
Yep. It's a way for them to double dip.
I mean,
I believe
if they're having...
I believe that they do let people enter a little bit earlier before like the regular park closing, because they'll have to get like a wristband, and then the wristband allows you to stay in the park as they kick everyone out.
Well, I mean, if they're doing special Star Wars food, they got to pay for all that blue food coloring somehow.
So check that out. You can find that on the Disneyland app or on their website. Of course you have Galaxy's Edge and everything there, but usually they try and plus it up a little bit. And if that interests you, hey, go for it. But moving on. All right, we're talking about The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 11. This is I can't find the episode name.
It's
the Apostate. The Apostate.
Yeah, no, that's
No.
Mandalorian.
Sorry, Mandalorian. That's Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. Thank you.
I don't know why my brain just like heard the wrong show entirely. It was just the, and I went Mandalorian.
It's basically Alien meets King Kong.
Yeah. Well, and this is also exciting because if you were a fan of the Clone Wars, and if you remember the episode titled "The Zillo Beast," wait, what was it called? The Zillo Beast? Let's see here. Well, okay, you remember the Zillo Beast. If I mention the Zillo Beast, you know what I'm talking about. But there was an episode of the Clone Wars where basically George Lucas turned to Dave Filoni. It's like, hey, why don't you do Godzilla? It's like Filoni's like, okay, sure thing, George. That's my Dave Filoni impersonation
Sure
with
thing,
the vocal
George.
fry, the high-pitched vocal fry, um, and the mumbling George. Um, but the Zilla Beast was this basically just giant, like like five-legged creature, like lizard thing, Godzilla.
Godzilla had a
That
baby with a xenomorph.
yeah,
Yeah.
that basically terrorized
That
through
climbs
Coruscant.
towers like King Kong.
Climbed towers like King Kong.
Kaiju.
And it was a total send up of you know, like the arrogance of the people of the Star Wars universe trying to control nature. Because the whole thing with the Zillo Beast was that its scales naturally deflected blaster fire.
Yeah.
And you know, the end of the episode was Palpatine kind of secretly, I mean, I don't know how you secretly, this is a giant creature, but kind of wrapping it up and sending it off somewhere, you know, we assumed to experiment on it. So this kind of serves as a bit of a sequel to that episode, to kind of find out what finally, after all this time, finally what happened to the Zillo Beast and what was Palpatine and his scientists.
Which is what the
working on.
animated series are best at, is filling in the gaps
Filling in
and
the gaps,
helping to
yeah.
make sense, because it also helped make Rise of Skywalker make a little bit more sense as well. I felt
With the cloning methods and
right.
and Omega saying like, yeah, no, that I didn't have this information. They were doing this off of Camino. And you know how they kind of conclude that, like, you know, they didn't want to stop cloning, they wanted to control it.
Right. Yeah, that was a cool little quote.
But real quick, let's do a little like summary of the episode. So
Yeah.
basically,
Go for it.
like there's a vessel that goes down, and the Bad Batch gets a message from Sid saying, hey, I've got word on this. And they're like, yo, you didn't rescue us, what the fuck? And she's
And
like,
now you're asking
oh,
us
but
to
you
do it?
guys are fine. And they're like, bitch. And so they're like, okay, well, let's do this one last job for her, and then we'll like go our own way. But shit, she knows a lot about us, so this is going to be difficult, but we'll figure it out. But let's go check out this vessel, because we're going to get 50% instead of 30%.
And Tech is like, yo, this is it, dude. Like, no more of this. This is back.
Yeah. And in the meantime, there's this doctor named Dr. Hemlock, which is like super subtle, right?
Yeah.
And he's got Nasela, what's her name? Nalisay. And she's like, fuck you, bitches. You destroyed my species. Like, I'm not going to help you. Yeah. And he's like, he must have been like her assistant or something, because he's like, well, it's been a long time. And remember, like, the science stuff? Like, wasn't the science stuff cool? And it's going to be like the future. And she's like, don't care. And so they end up taking her to like this mountain anyway. But it's like they obviously are going to try and clone stuff, like just like they want like the midichlorians from Grogu to be part of the cloning process. Like they also want some of like the defense mechanisms of this
and
creature.
Also for extended universe fans, it is Wayland, the planet Wayland, home of Mount Tantis from Heir to the Empire.
And I have to say, I'm really appreciating Gwendolyn Yo's voice acting as Nalisay. I just,
she's such a sultry voice.
She's a whole mood, and I'm here for it.
She is a whole mood.
So fantastic.
But the mountain, it was used as a Palpatine cloning facility in the extended universe. So this is another instance where the extended universe is being brought into like the main Star Wars canon, brought back, I guess, into the main Star Wars canon. So, and the Zillo Beast feeds off electricity. So anytime, you know, it's like, don't feed after midnight. It's like, don't give this thing access to power, because it just like grows and grows and grows and becomes like a mega Zillo Beast.
Fantastic example of like Imperial hubris and oversight, where like the guards who were assigned to it had those like electro staffs, and it's like,
oh,
come on,
wait, they had the glowy eyes too. They're like the special commandos.
Yeah, so those are the clone commandos. If you were a fan of the old PlayStation and Xbox game, Clone Commandos, the clone commandos are back around as well.
So as far as we know, there's only 2 Camoans left, right? Nalisay,
that we've seen, yeah.
and Lamasu, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And he basically rats out Omega at the end there
Right.
when he
Yeah, because Hemlock is basically saying, okay, so what can we do to convince Nala Se to help us with
That's
like
right.
continue the experimentation, and he's like, yo, like if you let me go, I'll help you out. And he's like, well, what you got? And he's like, hey, there's this female clone, you get her, and like she'll do what you want.
I feel like that's gonna tie into when they leave Sid. They're probably gonna. I bet they're gonna find Sid, and Sid's gonna have to make a choice, and we'll see what she does. And right now, it does not look like she's going to keep their secrets. Probably.
Now, of course, as they encounter the Zilla Beast on the ship, we have a whole lot of kind of thriller action as the Zilla Beast hunts them around the ship, and they're like, "Wow, it's like we're shooting at it, nothing's happening." And they try to use explosive charges, which accidentally blow up the side of the ship, and the Zilla Beast, of course, gets out and and the hunters are like, "God damn it, it's gonna go eat the village." Okay, we gotta go stop it from eating the village. And of course, it finds a generator to the village and starts growing and getting bigger.
Yeah, and it gets like a nice long like dinosaur neck
And of course, Hemlock also finds out that that ship crashed and sends in a team to go recover it. And they, using a sonic boom, kind of incapacitate it. They put it in some liquid, like a Bacta tank or something like that. And the batch basically just kind of flees. Let's see here. Did we miss anything?
I think that's pretty much
Yeah,
everything.
Let's see here.
Oh, I do know that Dr. Hemlock is voiced by the super creepy dude that was in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Remember the guy that was like always like sweaty and like covered in like weird pimples and stuff, and then he went on to star in Westworld, at least the first season.
you really.
was
I'm
like-
glad you clarified it because I'm like all the dudes in that show are kind of super creepy.
He used to be on like David Letterman too for a while. Like he was like one of like the regular like character actor guest stars, but he like most people I think would probably know him now from Westworld. In the first season, he was the one who kind of like fell in love with the main chick.
Dolores?
And I think so. Yeah. Dolores. And like tried to rescue her, and it was like the main like good guy against the man in the black hat and all that.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so one last point I did find. Thank you for stalling for me. Important thing. So when they're talking about and what Lexi was saying about the scene where they're like, oh yeah, they're gonna try and weaponize the Zilla Beast, and they didn't destroy Camino to end cloning, but to gain control over cloning. That's kind of the point when Hunter basically is like, all right, we should tell Rex and Echo, because this is now getting bigger than
Which
just
makes
us.
which really makes me happy because that means we get more Echo and more Rex, and who
Right.
doesn't love that? So
And potentially the eventual clone rebellion, which we've all been looking forward to.
yeah, and
This is like their
what?
Han Solo Hoth moment.
It makes me wonder if we're not gonna see a major shift with Crosshair for some reason. Because
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of. We still haven't seen a lot of.
We haven't seen a
Crosshair.
lot of him, but the business of the batch is taking them a lot closer to the Empire in proximity, which they've been avoiding. And so far, there haven't been any indications, like explicit indications, that Crosshair has any inclination to leave the Empire. But regardless, I have a feeling that like the tipping point where he has to choose again.
There will be a reckoning once again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. The other kind of just fun thing I want to point out is that, of course, we talked a little bit about the planet Wayland, but with all of the kind of genre nods in this episode, with a smaller Zillo Beast hunting various characters on board the ship, that were like kind of mirroring aliens. I do find it kind of funny that Planet Wayland versus the Wayland Corporation. If you remember the Alien films, that Wayland was the name of the corporation that was, evil Paul Reiser. Uh,
All they need is
Oh,
Sigourney Weaver.
yeah.
All they need is
Mhm.
Sigourney Weaver at this point.
so yeah, so that's kind of another fun little thing.
And a
Um,
cat.
I do
cat.
wonder if that was
Loth cat.
intentional, like when they named the planet initially, right? Because like, oh, kind of ties in.
I would
Oh,
love
I'm
it.
sure.
Yeah.
There was an Easter egg like that in The Mandalorian too, where like the two names. Oh, from Army of Darkness, like the two names.
Did we lose Tracy or did we lose me?
She garbled out.
Okay. I wasn't sure because you were paused for a minute too, and I was like, I don't
I was
know,
like,
is it me
"Oh?"
today? Am I the one?
Hmm.
Am I Benja today?
Well, while she is frozen in carbonite for the time being. So how'd you like this episode, Lexi?
you know, it felt more driven to me than
Yeah.
some of the others. I saw one or two responses to it that were like, why did we even have this episode? I'm like, have you not watched anything else, or do you just have a really short memory? Because like you said, it ties in
Yeah.
so many things. Yeah, it felt less like, well, we really need to have some character development for this character, so let's shoehorn in a situation where they got to develop.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a really good balance of action and kind of showcasing the relationship of the remaining batch members, giving us hints at bringing in characters that we would like to see that we haven't seen in a while, and adding,
I mean,
nice...
just that thread of the Zillow Beast coming back is
Yeah,
just so
yeah, ties it to the rest of the the content universe, the other series, and really kind of has a sort of Damocles sort of with like, well, now they're going to be explicitly hunting for Omega, and they're about to get on Sid's bad side.
Yeah, definitely ratcheting up the stakes a little
Mhm.
bit. How about you, Tracy? How did you feel about such a small but very impactful scene when they kind of have it out with Sid a little bit?
Sorry, my internet actually went out for a minute. I don't know if you noticed that. So
I did,
say
yes.
say the question
Yes.
again.
Oh, I was saying, how did you feel? Just kind of your impressions of just the way they ratcheted up the tension with Sid in that short little scene
Oh.
towards the beginning. I thought that
Oh.
was kind of really interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely going to come to a head at some point where Sid either sells them out or saves them. One of the two is definitely going to happen. But at some
Yeah.
point they have to break away from her. Not only because, like I mentioned before, they've kind of reached their Han Solo Hoth moment
Mhm.
where they are deciding that instead of just being, guns for hire, they are part of a bigger picture. But just like for their own well-being, like they're realizing that Sid is not the most reliable person to be attached to, even
Which was
though
foreshadowed, but
right.
Mhm.
And and I think the only reason why they've even gone this long is because she knows that they exist
Right.
Yeah.
and most people don't. So
yeah, they've really been playing it safe.
I actually trust Crosshair to keep their existence a secret more than I trust
Than
Sid to keep their
Sid.
existence
Yeah.
a secret.
Yeah. Which
Um,
is weird, but
yeah, it's
I
like
agree with you on that.
there's just like those two short scenes which really just ratcheted up the tension and the stakes. That one, and of course, now we know that they will be actively hunting Omega, specifically. Now, still no indication though what it is about Omega that makes her particularly special or special to Lana
Nala
Say.
say, yeah.
Or
Like, is it just the general, oh, she's like surrogate mom, or is there something
Right.
more specific with like plot importance?
Right.
Well, she's got the purest, currently the purest of all of the DNA.
Yeah, she and Boba
clones,
Fett. She and Boba
besides
Fett
Boba
are-
Fett. plus she's got a little something extra in there, right? Like maybe some of the experimentation
Yeah.
that leads up to what Palpatine is trying to do.
And she got that XX
I mean,
chromosomes.
but none of that.
Plus,
That's true.
She's
but I mean,
the Boba de Jango to Lamase. Like she's like that's what she is. Like she's the one that was kind of adopted and taken under the wing.
well, I mean, that's the interesting thing because we still have no confirmation of her having any kind of special abilities, right? Just other than we meeting her and kind of, just naturally her kind of natural having a little bit more compassion and the way she interacts with the Bad Batch. But like, other than that, it's not like we've confirmed any force sensitivity or that she is part of what will become the cloning process that leads to Snoke or something else. It's like, that's still a bit of a mystery box that they have yet to really drop any breadcrumbs, which, it could very well just be that, there is a personal connection with Nala Se, which is also kind of a neat thing of, if it is, like you say, Boba Fett was, I want like a son for Jango Fett, right?
Yeah.
If Nala Se just had a personal connection, if I want a daughter.
I will tell you, I really liked, besides everything I said to you, Andy, I liked this episode because it made me like the other ones more. And the reason it made me like the other ones more is because it kind of added an element, for me at least, of form and content matching, where I think you guys remember one of my complaints about the other episodes is I'm like, they feel a little directionless. And now I'm starting to go,
I see.
maybe that was the point.
Yeah.
Because the batch was kind of directionless. They were free agents just out for themselves. And that wasn't really working for them.
I totally agree with that, because this is the first time that we actually, I mean, they kind of allude to it at the end of the episode last week where Hunter's like, maybe we need to kind of rethink, how, or no, it was a conversation with him and Omega, where they're like, oh, there's more than just bad Empire, there's just bad people, and maybe we do need to be more involved with the universe, or maybe we need to help more people.
And then thematically that all ties in with like Nemec again. I'm going to bring it back to that from Andor.
Sure.
Going, people who are part of the rebellion, some of them don't even know they're part of it, but anybody who refuses to follow the imperial status quo for whatever their personal reasons are contributing. And I love a tie-in.
Was it evil thrives when good people do nothing?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else? Anything from the chat we want to comment on that? I think we covered a lot of like the themes.
Yeah,
Peter
and
Griffin said
we were super efficient this time. This is like not like us. What the heck?
What did Peter Griffin say? Sorry, Tracy, to cut you off.
Oh, that's okay. Peter said soft-spoken Nala Se is about to take out Lamasu for being a big mouth about Omega, and I suggested that maybe they fight by swinging their necks around like giraffes.
She gonna wring his neck, and by wring his neck, it's like that's a lot of neck to wring.
That's a lot of neck. She's gonna tie
it in a knot.
Anyway.
Awesome. Cool, guys. We have only a few more episodes, right? Because they are going.
5.
This was episode 11, so we're going to 16. Is that right?
13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 5 more episodes.
Yeah, so 5 more episodes.
I can math.
And they can do a lot in 5
so I'm glad you
episodes. So very interesting to see how this ratchets up even more. And check in with Crosshair again, because we've only really had one Crosshair episode.
Yeah, and that episode was really impactful, but it'd be good to see. And
find out if Cody has found Rex and Echo, and the boys
have I would love for them to come back to that, and like the gang's all here. I would appreciate that kind of fan service.
Brothers reunited.
And it feels so good.
All right, so let's jump on ahead to The Mandalorian. Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1, The Apostate. And it looks like just in time for our rear flank, joined
Who you
by
calling a rear flank?
Jason!
Someone's got to watch our backs. Good to see
Howdy,
you, Jason.
stranger.
I enjoy watching backs. What? I don't know what the hell that meant. So, okay.
We
Are
got
you
nice
watching my
backs.
back, Jason?
I'm always am.
Always. Huh?
Always. And what a lovely back it is. Hello,
Why,
everyone.
thank you. Hello. We just finished talking about the Bad Batch episode 11, and you are perfectly timed to join
Yes.
us.
Well, that's
Like-
Rodney. So thank you, Rodney. Yes. I wouldn't have known when to come in if he hadn't been like, "You're on in 1 minute. Go." So okay.
Yes, this is episode 1, Apostate. Last week we kind of tried to do a little bit of a recap in terms of what had happened in season 2, and of course the couple of episodes that covered where the Mandalorian was, or where Din Djarin was during the book of Boba Fett. There was also just some interesting interviews kind of leading up to this release. Something that I thought was really interesting, but like basically Filoni and Favreau have confirmed, and there's 3 Fs now, because Filoni, Favreau, and Famuyiwa,
Fantastic.
have all kind of confirmed in interviews that Grogu was with Luke a little longer than we thought.
Oh my god, this blew my freaking mind, dude.
Yeah, right?
Like,
So now
apparently years have passed.
So now he's 52, 53.
I mean, Filoni was like, I'm not going to give you an actual date because that might be a spoiler. So, but it's 50 plus. So presumably there have been years that they've been traveling. So season 1 and season 2 was over the course of years, plural. And then of course that he has spent at least 2 years training with Luke, which is, I mean, honestly, even during Empire Strikes Back, it was always a little vague how much time had passed through the course of the movie.
We do have a slight indicator in how much Navarro has been built up.
That's
Like,
true.
but that's
actually.
like the only indicator, because during Book of Boba Fett, like, does that mean that Boba and Fennec were like doing nothing for like 5 years, or at least a couple of years? Because if he was with Luke for like 2 years and then traveling with Mando for like 3 years, that's at least 5 years.
I mean, I think we can just presume there was just more of a time gap in between just stuff that was happening on Tatooine than what we saw.
Oh man, I just saw the Millennium Falcon wipe by on the Zoom. I'm sorry, that's my first time seeing that. I'm blown. That was awesome. Sorry.
Yeah,
I know we don't
actually,
usually get
we
to
don't
see
usually
what
get to
you
see
guys.
ourselves.
I know.
Transition. I
It's
was
like, ooh, that's so
It's
fancy.
like I went to scratch my back, and all of a sudden the camera was on me, and I was like, I was like, oh,
so
shoot.
many things. The
Normally I don't
Falcon
have to worry about that.
Grogu's over the hill. I mean, man, we are just covering everything. Oh, there it is again. Oh
There
my
it is
God.
again. Look at
Hey. Wow, that just made my Monday night. Thank you, Rodney. That was amazing. So, okay. It's the little things.
But I mean, that
Background's
was
back.
really interesting. And what it really does is it really opens up all this possibility in terms of, how much Force usage does Grogu actually know, which is kind of fun, and it opens up some new possibilities.
Enough to pull one of these.
Yeah.
Wait, is Luke like, well, that was a waste of my freaking time? Like, what?
Yeah,
I mean, he can't
still,
talk, man. He can't
feels
talk. 'Cause
M&Ms really well now. So I
he,
mean,
he
took
just
the
jumped
orange
around
M&Ms.
he jumped around in the forest for a while and then said, "Okay, peace out. I'm gonna go fight Vader."
Maybe that's one of the reasons
So wait,
why.
how long
when-
was Luke with Yoda?
I mean, that's the thing. That's also vague, right? Because he is way more skilled after the training montage. So that there's,
Yeah.
they could have been hiding out, like the Millennium Falcon could have been like hiding out in the space slug like for a few nights for all we know. And we
Cue
do know
awkward
that
pause. Sorry.
we do know that Leia has some opportunity to like change clothes, and that never happens in Star Wars.
Yeah, we
So-
don't. Everybody's laundry reeks.
Yes.
Just like the hot chicks in spandex after 4 days of Comic-Con.
Everybody in Star Wars is a hot chick at Comic-Con.
There you go.
You have
do you
not
guys want to
smelled
try
a bad smell until you smelled 4 days of latex. Anyways, continue.
do you guys want to try and do another kind of quick I mean, honestly, I was very impressed with your guys you guys doing the recap of Bad Batch. It was great. It was kind of like Luis from Ant-Man tells the story of the Bad Batch.
I like how you like picked up on my vibe too, Andy.
I was personally a fan of, and then Sid was like, come do a job for me, and they were like, bitch.
You know what I was kind of doing? I just now realized, now that Jason is here, I was kind of doing it the way that Hot Nerd Girl does on when I do his thing for his
vlog.
For his vlog. I was kind of doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's endearing, Tracy. It's
So,
It is.
You guys. We start off with the armor, and at first we think it's Din Djarin who's totally in his helmet, and it's a flashback, but then we're like, oh wait, oh snap, giant alligator, what?
Alligator
then
it was like an Avatar moment.
It's like so crazy. They're like, you guys save the foundlings, but they obviously care about each other because they were rescuing each other out of the water, and it was super cute.
And it was crazy wicked hot.
I know, it looks like they're gonna be defeated, right? Even with all their like super Jedi weapons, it's nothing against this super giant alligator. And then all of a sudden the ship comes in and blows the alligator to bits, and it's totally Din Djarin and Grogu, and it's so cute when he pops up. It's like one of those little thingies that you had when you were a kid where you could just pop it and like something would pop up, and it was so cute. And then Din Djarin tells the armorer that he's totally gonna like redeem himself, and that's why the episode is called The Apostate, because they kicked him out of their crazy religion. Then she's like, homeboy, there's nothing where to go. And he's like, check out my crystal, bitch. And it turns out that the engraving on the crystal is actually like the book of Exodus from the Bible, which is really weird. Anyway,
that makes sense because their whole initiation ceremony had these really weird Christian undertones with we're gonna pour water on this child's head. Anyway, yeah. Ding ding ding. Thank you, Catholic school. Thank you very much.
Anyways, so what happened? Oh, so then he goes to Navarro, which is totally like a paradise now. It's a little bit like Risa, except in Star Wars. But there's like still gangsters that show up every once in a while. So it's like the Old West, and they have to like pew pew it out every once in a while. And what's Karga is like, he's not just the magistrate, he's like the high magistrate. Emphasis on high.
High magistrate.
And we get to see this like, and everybody worships IG-11 because he's like in the center of the square as a statue, like all like in this like superhero pose, and it's super cute.
And Din Djarin's like, I want my friend back.
Yeah, because it's like the one robot he trusts, the one droid that he trusts, and he's like, I don't care that it's like 90% gone. I want this one. And they bring him
before they do that. There's like these guys, and they're like totally like harshing my vibe. Who are like these Nikto pirates, and like they're like,
we talked about the pirates, Andy.
But we didn't get to the point where they're like, well, man, like that's my pub. I want to like go drink, and Karga's like, nah, man, that's a school. And he's like, nah, man, I want to drink in the school. He's like, nah, man, no, like we only have cookies there, blue cookies. So like, and then he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna shoot you in the hand, and he's like, oh, dude, that hurt. And then all the other Nikto guys are like, well, we're gonna shoot you. And then Mando's like, nah, I'm gonna shoot all y'all. And he's like, okay, you Nikto pirate, you're left, and you're gonna go talk to your Davy Jones octopus slime face.
It was like seaweed salad.
Yes.
Did you guys ever eat seaweed salad?
That's Davy Jones' awkward cousin.
And tell him, yo, I'm like Lando Calrissian legit now. So okay, sorry. Now you can continue.
No, that was good because it is foreshadowing.
Never trust a pirate, kid.
So when I froze the last time, that's what I was talking about. Was it two of the pirate names were the Latin from Army of Darkness?
Oh, God, that's right.
They Klaatu Verata.
Klaatu.
Yeah.
Which is a callback to some other science fiction thing, which I can't
The
remember.
day
what
the
it
Earth
is.
stood still.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's why we needed you.
I know obscure facts
Necessary.
that nobody
Necessary.
can, but you guys do, yes. So
Okay, you were
And
talking
then
about IG-11.
Mando saved Ellie, and we moved on to the season finale. Oops, wrong show.
So, anyways, so
Anyway.
then they activate IG-11, and it turns out that his reprogramming is not as good as his other reprogramming, and so he totally tries to kill Grogu. But then they destroy him with the High Magistrate's bust. Bust, not bust. And then, so then they put him
And
down.
they were like,
they tried
dude, you're busted.
Yes. And it was a total dad joke. He's the dad.
Yeah.
He's the daddy of the internet, and it was like proof right there in that first episode.
Well, that's the way to use your head.
And then, and then the little droid fixing thingies from Rise of
Antellan.
Skywalker.
Antelans, yeah.
And
Bad
they're so
baby.
cute.
Bad baby.
Grogu tries
Hey,
to
that's
hug
good.
them because they're like little teddy bears with mustaches.
Bad baby. Bad baby.
No squeezy.
No, it's easy. Bad baby.
I think that's pretty much where we
It was
end,
like
right?
it was all worth it for that scene. Good God. That and then we have the dogfight when he flies out.
Oh, it was so good. That was so good. Oh, they show Purgils. You don't get to see him up close, but
Oh,
you get
that's
to see
right.
Purgils.
That was cool. Yeah, we have a hyperspace moment where he's flying through hyperspace and Grogu intuitively
to-
looks out and he sees these amorphous
space
shapes. where
whales.
it's Like,
Like whale
there's
watching.
Purgles, which is like totally okay. We'll talk about what that's.
It was the week of giant animals.
yes.
Yeah.
That or also, I mean, you know, if we're doing like sci-fi callbacks, if Bad Batch did Aliens, IG-11 did the Terminator.
Yeah, was
Oh, that was like almost zombie-like. It was creepy.
Yeah, it was sad because the last time he was trying to save Grogu, and this
Yes.
time he was like, destroy.
But yes, we get a really cool dogfight in the asteroid belt where he takes out like 7 pirate fighters, but they succeed in drawing him to the pirate ship where we meet the pirate
Captain
King.
Seaweed Salad.
Yes,
Yeah,
That's
what's
canon,
the
by
king?
the way.
that's canon.
Orion Shard. Yes.
They're making the action figure right now on Hasbro Pulse. So yeah.
And I love that
It's
he
labeled
actually
as Captain
says
Seaweed
Avast. He literally says
Avast.
Avast. I'm like, do it. Go all the way.
I have seaweed salad in my fridge right now. I can literally just slap it on an action figure.
And then of
Purgles.
course-
That's the
Yes.
the big whales. Purgles.
Yes.
Yeah,
Purgles.
Purgles.
Of course, then after he gets away from the pirate, we have our final scene with Lexi,
What?
our favorite. The final scene. He goes to
Babu.
the Mandalorian system and finds he's yeah. We're also seeing him.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're seeing
that-
him go.
Bo-Katan, that gave that. I'm trying to think of like who that reminded me of. Like just lounging.
Darth Maul. Darth Maul.
In her empty
Oh, that's true.
castle,
Yeah.
and man, I thought that I saw a lot of people being really annoyed with her online for her response and being like, well, your sect is ruining everything, and they're like, girl, you were part of like basically the same sect. And I'm like, okay, but I thought that made her really compelling because
Yeah.
how many people in this world handle regret healthily?
Yeah. Well, and
A
also
lot of
just
people
how
don't.
how just the whole like the forlornness. He's like, yeah, you still have the dark saber. Yeah, just wave that thing around. I'm
Thing
sure
around,
they'll follow
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And yeah, she basically confirms for him where the
Mines. The
yeah,
mines
where
of
the
Moria.
mines
No,
would
wait,
be,
sorry,
the mi-
wrong
other mines.
world. No,
And but
How's
she's
he gonna
definitely
bring her
crestfallen.
proof?
I
How is he
really-
gonna bring the armor proof?
maybe a vial of water. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that there will be some sort of Mandalorian space Balrog that he has
Yeah.
to fight.
Oh, there she is. Check that out. Yeah, girl. Hey, girl. Check out
Yeah.
that.
But yeah,
I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, I cannot sit in a chair normally. I'm currently sitting cross-legged in this chair,
me
so I
too.
would probably be sitting like that too.
Yeah, yeah. I can't.
I when I
It's
work,
very
I sit
similar
like
to
this.
how I
You guys
sit
are
on the
lucky
throne,
you can't
aka
see
the
my
toilet. It's just, yeah.
Wow.
And
next
you're
time you need to
welcome,
take
everyone.
Next time, take a selfie and send it to us, Jason.
Oh, sure. Yeah, everyone wants to love to see that. Yeah, next week, everyone, stay tuned.
Do it.
I
It'll
meant
make up
just
for the
to
fact that I'm
us,
not
but
there.
hey.
Oh, just to you. Sorry, I got ahead of
Whatever
myself.
floats your boat or finds your lost remote, my friend.
I got very excited about that. I'm very sorry.
I'm sure it would go viral on the Pod Squadron Instagram if you were.
There it is. There it is. It's gonna be the new just picture you see in the little circles. Just. Oh God. Welcome home, America.
So I gotta say, it was very fun to be back in this world for me. And you know, just like letting Star Wars be weird again. And kind of reminding us, kind of, you know, I mean, there are some scenes that were like they recovered ground that was already covered, but I was like, that's okay, yeah, catch us up back again. You know, there is that kind of interesting thing to there's a lot of like interesting thematic things that they are kind of setting up, a lot of world building, right? Like there is this this tension of, you know, the tension between dogma and like practical.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? You know
Magic?
what I'm saying?
Practical
Well,
magic?
Practical
Well,
magic. Centerville?
I mean-
No.
I mean, because the whole
Highly
I think
underrated.
it's
Sandra
significant.
Bullock film.
It's significant that they ended on Bo-Katan
Number
kind of
two.
giving her little speech about, you know, how the Watch kind of divided their people, how the superstition and all that is kind of at the heart of what keeps everyone divided. And it's like you can kind of see there are these things where, like, honestly, the Watch covert would basically have been eaten by a giant alligator. Like, they were outclassed, and then they were saved because
It was definitely okay. I just gotta say that species gave me Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes because it was a turtle gator. And when they went and they put the explosive charges on its shell, I was like, come on, you guys, get on the back of its neck, not on the shell. That's not
Or-
going to do a thing.
or
And then
the
it didn't do
belly or
anything.
something, right? I mean,
Brave, but not too bright.
No tacticians in that group whatsoever.
Nope.
Couldn't see
Uh,
through the helmet. They thought they were on the neck, but they're
Yeah.
like, oh well, close enough.
Can I just, like, I didn't get to bring it up when we were talking about IG-11 being reprogrammed, but I love that there's like so much. It's just one of the things I've always loved about Star Wars, and you know, we were saying it's great to be immersed in this universe again. I love that there's all of this advanced tech, and you can still hotwire a droid.
that's true.
I love that he's gonna try. The reason why I brought up like how's he gonna bring her proof is because they basically are walking video cameras and holograms, right?
Yes.
Like you
True.
can pretty much hologram anything,
Yeah.
but still, like he'll be like, "No, I brought you this thing from
Look
the
at this
mine."
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is
And
my proof.
When instead he could make like a Star Wars TikTok and be like, okay, IG-11, set
Yeah.
up the frame.
Yeah,
Bathing
exactly.
in the springs, getting
me bathing in
ridiculous.
the
Yeah.
And I love how they
Hashtag
set up
blessed.
a neat little side quest, like it's a video game. Like now he's got to go get the memory
He's
circuit,
got to get a new memory
Um,
circuit.
and they have
Now-
a. Mhm.
So, but I want to
how
come
we
back
got
to the
frogs
like
last
this
season.
overall theme of this whole episode of progressive action versus like dogma holding you back, right? Like, if not for the Mandalorian, that whole covert would be destroyed.
Mhm.
If not for IG-11's old programming, you know, he could be useful and have friends again and be back to life.
Yeah.
You know, or the pirates who are like, no, this is a bar. It's always been a bar, and he's like, no, we want to move forward. You know, I'm Grief Karga. It's a school now, and our society is moving on.
We're respectable
You
now.
can tell he's not just doing a desk job, because the amount of practice it takes to be able to quick draw and target a hand.
Oh yeah,
Good job, man.
respect, man.
Great
Yeah,
job.
still got it.
Mad
Go-
respect.
you go, Apollo Creed.
And I love how they just very neatly sidestepped Cara Dune's disappearance, where it's like, man, she did such a good job. She got recruited to special forces.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what that reminded me of is that Simpsons episode where it's like, and then Poochie went back to his home planet, and then he was
Stop it.
It's like, oh, there he goes. It's like, there goes Cara Dune.
So that said, yes, I know a lot of people are like, well, this is, I mean, as far as Mandalorian season openers, it's not as huge of a reveal as introducing Grogu the child. It's not as huge of an opening as introducing Cobb Vanth and fighting a freaking crate dragon.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of world building, and just that theme kind of summed up in Bo-Katan's kind of bitterness at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of world building.
Yeah.
When does Ahsoka come out again? Is it this year?
They have said the end of this
Supposedly.
year, but
Okay.
I think it's going to get pushed to early next year because
Well, we know from Rebels that Ezra uses the Purgles, the giant space whales,
Giant
to
space whales.
take Thrawn to like the other side of the universe, right?
Yeah.
And so an Ahsoka in The Mandalorian is like, tell me
Looking for
where
Thrawn.
Thrawn
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And she's probably going to need those Purgles in order to get to where Ezra and
Mhm.
Thrawn are. So I feel like that was a very subtle, like on one hand, it was like this beautiful shot,
yeah.
reminded me very much of like Doctor Who, right?
Mhm.
Like, and then, but at the same
And-
time, it's subtle world building.
Yeah.
yeah,
And,
and
foreshadowing.
it's totally going to foreshadow to I mean, Grogu
and I think-
can talk to the
I think this
either
is
he's like sensitive to them or something like that. Yeah,
and I think this is the second time that I brought up Treasure Planet, but the space whales again.
yeah.
Orcus Galacticus. Why do I remember that? I don't know.
That's Treasure
I
Planet.
got to admit, I went back and I rewound the Purgle scene, quietly hoping that you could see somebody riding on them, being like, Ezra, they're together. But no.
Wahoo!
I wouldn't put it past Dave Filoni and John Favreau.
And I something that I read after our last show was that they do have confirmed casting for a live action Hera Syndulla, which obviously with my dog Hera, I'm very excited about that. So for the Ahsoka show,
have they confirmed that it is that it's Ewan McGregor's partner? That was the rumor I had heard. But
I just saw that they had a confirmed casting for it, and I'm remiss in that I did not check and see who it was. I just remember reading it after getting home from a catering shift and like falling asleep sitting up.
Right.
This is for Hera, you said?
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
The other thing
the
too,
Googles.
right? It's like, I mean, very clearly we're gonna see Clan Ren, right?
Mary
Like, we- like-
Elizabeth Winstead?
Okay, yeah, it is her. Yeah,
Oh, cool.
That's Ewan McGregor's partner?
I think so. Yeah.
They've been together for like forever. Yeah. So
Is this the mom of like the kid that was in Book of Boba or the Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan.
show?
I think so. I don't know,
Cool.
actually.
So now it's just like a family thing.
Yeah,
Love it.
family affair. But yeah, okay, like we're gonna see Sabine, right? Like we're in agreement. Like she like they've only talked about her in context for the Ahsoka show, but I mean, like, the we know the connection between Clan Ren and Clan Kreese. We've now alluded to one of the other planets in the Mandalore system.
Yeah.
They got to do it. That
Yeah, Natasha Liu Bordizzo. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
Yeah, and she was at Celebration with Ahsoka, promoting the Ahsoka series, because they had 1 or 2 weeks of shooting in at that point in time. But yeah, I can't imagine she won't show up in this. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, she's in Netflix's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny back in 2019.
Oh,
she
she was
was?
Ramona Flowers
Oh,
in
wow.
Scott Pilgrim. She's definitely not the mom of his kids. She's way too young.
Oh, okay.
She was born in 1984.
Sorry, you're
Oh.
back to Mary Elizabeth.
Mary
Winstead?
Elizabeth Winstead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
No,
I
it's
went
fine.
down a rabbit hole.
That's okay. I followed you. I followed you.
Live. Hi.
Bless ADHD sometimes.
Other cool things that I caught was when they're doing the ceremony out in the waters, and you can see some of the clan flags. So you do see the Vizsla flag, as well as the the Mythosaur flag, and
Which is surprisingly tame, the Vizsla flag. It's like a branch.
well, it's also
whip
it's also
people
a
with.
logo that is actually on the Boba Fett armor too, because
Interesting.
it was.
Oh,
it was,
that's right. That's right.
What is that? Is that
It looks like a
Jaster?
baseball.
Yeah, it's like Jaster Muriel or something like that. It dates back to. I don't know. More other deep canon stuff. We already talked about the Purgle. What else did I spot? Oh, of course, the Kowakian monkey lizards that before we saw them being roasted in the street, and now they're kind of free in a tree.
And the bats that attacked him in the desert were like hanging. Like one guy had him as a
Yeah,
pet.
he had a little pet like on his
Mhm.
shoulder. A lot of droids. It's funny to me, Jason. Did you get the impression that that Navarro is looking a lot like Black Spire Outpost?
Yes. I was actually talking to my friend about that. Yeah, I'm like, wow, that just really looks like a corner of Galaxy's Edge that they shot in right now. So I mean, I know that's not the case, but I'm sure that was also intentional too. So
A
I
lot
mean,
of coincidence.
Yeah, yeah.
I still want them to
Totally
just
intentional.
actually just close
Go
off
there?
the land for a day and like just shoot there.
they go to Black
It's just
Spire,
gonna be
and then they'll just
fun.
fly over Space Mountain. And,
Yeah, there you go. That was another kind of nice little deep dive. They refer to that all the mining and all of the like where they are in the Outer Rim. They're along the Hydean Way, and this is another like deep canon thing that has popped up in a lot of stuff regarding the Outer Rim and in the kind of the uncharted or more newly charted hyperspace routes along the Outer Rim.
They don't, because we know that the first order comes to power in the Outer Rim. I wonder how
Actually,
independent
it's not
settlements
Outer
like,
Rim. It's the unknown regions. It's even further past the I think.
okay.
So they're like way in the boonies.
Yeah.
Like we
They're
know
like-
that they like conquer
if it-
planet like one planet at a time, right?
They're
Like-
like
Like if it was San Diego, like they would be like out by Viejas
Oh.
in
I was
in,
gonna-
in Otay.
I would compare it to Australia right when it first got
Oh, there.
colonized.
So
Uh,
I'm just curious how Navarro would like how and if it survived the first order as an independent
Yeah.
trade.
Well, I mean,
outpost.
and that's the thing. There's still a lot of interesting things that we've seen in the trailer. Like, I mean, there are teases that we're gonna cover some of the war tribunal of Moff Gideon.
Gideon.
I really love that when they're like, "What happened to him?" Oh, war tribunal. And they're both kind of like, "Ugh." Yeah. Like, oh
well,
yeah,
that's
that long ago,
specifically
that'll
to
do.
the New Republic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, good luck, buddies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Well, and,
that's,
and
that's like,
Pascal said too there was going to be like Skywalker level surprises by the end. So I mean, that he
Ooh.
said in
How
an
many-
interview. But
How many episodes do we get? 10?
isn't it 9?
I think 8.
8, 7.
8? Well, six,
No,
5,
I'm
4,
just
3, 2,
counting
1.
down now. Don't ignore me.
Okay, but for real though, is it like 8? How many episodes
I'm
do we-
searching right now.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it was 8 episodes for season
So the
1 and 2,
Googles.
right? Which is why we are starting at chapter 17.
And then we have to wait like 3 more years for the next.
Well, I mean, presumably these other shows are interconnected, right? This show will probably introduce.
Peter says 8 episodes.
yes.
8.
So they'll probably
I got
introduce
8,
Ahsoka and Sabine, and it will transition fluidly into the Ahsoka series.
I will have to say that I am personally very much hoping that in Din Djarin's quest for redemption to his cult, he realizes that he has nothing to atone for at all.
And we get to see his face more because
Yeah, he'll be
I
like,
would
"Ah,
love that.
yeah."
I would be such a
Well,
I would
and
be
and
so
and
happy
that's
about that. That would make
that is kind of what I was alluding to by like the kind of recurring theme, right? The recurring theme of this episode was how attachment to dogma or tradition can be harmful and
harmful. Yeah.
halt progress, halt growth, right?
Mhm.
Even as Mando, there's some great little cute scenes of Mando explaining to Grogu how to fly a ship or how to navigate a ship, which on a side note, oh my god, like that's a total Chekhov's gun. We're gonna see Grogu fly a
Yeah.
ship or something. Like we're gonna, if we're already seeing him grab Reese's Pieces
It
from
is a
afar
Chekhov's gun,
and
yeah.
spinning his chair, it's
Which
like,
means he's probably gonna have to pull Mando's ass out of the fire
right,
at some point.
yeah. Well, or sew up his stab wound. Oh wait, damn, shit.
um, yeah, so he's gonna definitely come in handy. But I mean, yeah, I hope we get to see Din Djarin making his own way instead of following the way of others.
And yeah, but I think you're totally right. More agency for Grogu as it becomes,
Grogu's finding his own way. Why not Din Djarin?
Yeah, you notice they're like giving him like more vocalizations and he responds more. Like I love that. Like when they show up or when they're leaving Navarro, he's like,
Can we see Bella Ramsey guest star on Mandalorian?
Yes. I know. Rodney was just saying Ellie needs a Bacta tank. But with that, I think we've covered the bulk of the show. I had a blast with this. I'm so excited to see where we go with the season. Yeah, they're teasing a blaster. But right now we have some crosstalk with the gang from Geek Beast as we welcome them in as the Falcon flies through. And
how are you feeling, Chuck?
Can you hear us?
Chuck, how are you feeling?
Where are you, Chuck?
Do you feel better?
Can you hear me? You cannot hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
What's going on?
Oh, are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm feeling better.
Oh, good.
And how are you? It was just
loud and obnoxious as usual.
Nothing wrong with that.
But only with you guys and only because of vodka.
Well,
Name the vodka.
You're a braver soul
I
than
did through all of
can't-
college.
I can't. No.
vodka may be a better friend than us.
So did you guys catch the first episode of Mandalorian?
I have not.
You have
I'm
not.
waiting to binge watch them all
You
back
mean-
to back.
Binge them on binge worthy.
But that too, I just hate serialized TV. Like,
Oh,
I need to see
okay.
things back to back to back. Because when I get involved with something, I don't want to wait week to week to week. I want it like all in at least a couple of settings. So I'm waiting on. I'm
Man,
holding
you
off
would have been
for
Pissed
Mandalorian.
if you had to
That's
watch Lost in
discipline.
real time. that was tough. Then it ended that way, and you're like, God,
JJ!
JJ.
Actually, that was more Darren Aronofsky's fault than it was JJ Abrams'
Yeah,
fault.
JJ had it fine in the first season, then he left, and then it was like, well, we got to get this on for 5
Damn
more
you and your
seasons.
mystery boxes.
I know, right? Sorry, I went off on a tangent. Boy,
Yes.
What happened to the polar bears?
Okay.
Anyway,
Well, but you've seen trailers and stuff too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what are things that you guys are excited to see in this upcoming season? Or
How
hoping
the
to
other
see?
Mandalorians. I'm excited about the other Mandalorians. I wonder how they. I wish they would have done something they did like Alien. I think I explained this to Randy before. I wish they did like Alien. And then they had Aliens. I wish they did Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
I mean,
I
they
mean-
kind of did.
Yeah, they have teased that we're going to see a lot of Mandalorians this season. Like
Mandalorians.
they
I'm
had
excited about that.
talked to cosplayers. They had brought people in. They were doing like pieces swapping so that they could like do composite shots. And just like, here, you take my helmet. Now you're a different guy.
And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to how this feeds into Ahsoka
Yeah.
I want to see the
Mhm.
surprises that we're going to get. I want them to bring back Sabine, maybe a quest for Ezra. Like, I'm interested to see how they connect
Back
all of
Ezra.
these things together.
Please give me live action Ezra. And are they going to give him blue contacts?
Well,
Because they
I
didn't
would
give Harry Potter
imagine.
green contacts. So
I
anyway,
thought they cast somebody.
Yeah,
they
I
did
thought-
cast somebody. He's got lovely brown eyes, but Ezra doesn't. So I'm really hoping they do some good. I don't know. I know that's like a tiny little yeah. It doesn't actually matter at all to the character, but it'd be really cool.
I mean, they put blue contacts in Rosario Dawson as well.
Yeah,
So.
so I think they should. But anyway, I know that's a small little fetch, but whatever.
Yeah.
But does he have purple hair?
That's
Okay, yeah, I would-
easy.
And where do we
Wait.
pick up? Like, how many years?
Please give me some more eye candy, Star Wars. Anyway,
Sorry,
How
how many
many
years
years does Ezra age? Or how many
That's a
years
good
from
question.
the end of Rebels to now do we pick up with Ahsoka?
the
I'm just
fact that
interested.
like he hopped dimensions or universes or whatever, I feel like gives him a lot of room to play with his age.
Well, this is supposed
And
to be
also remember,
five
too-
years after Return of the Jedi, right? So if Rebels ended right before, right before Rogue One, is that right?
Well, when Rebels, the epilogue takes place when at the
Oh, you're
not
right.
Andor when the Empire falls.
Right.
That's the epilogue. So we go right up into Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I
getting
mean,
into like Ender Game territory, Speaker of the Dead territory, I feel like.
I want to know if when they bring Ezra back, if they're going to like Jumanji him, where he's like Robin Williams, where he's like like comes back all like weird. And they're like, "Who's Ezra? What up?"
And while we got multiple seasons with him, I thought Admiral Thrawn was a great villain or
Yeah.
antagonist.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
interested if they bring him
coming.
back.
Oh,
Well,
he's coming.
and
and
Oh, Lord,
they've
he's coming.
teased so much too with the novels and everything. It's like it is kind of a thing of, will he be a straight up villain, or because he wasn't necessarily pro Empire, he was just like pro whoever is strongest that can help him fight. What I don't remember what they called them. What they used to be called the Grist,
Klingons?
but now they're
Just
yeah. Species 84721 or
Yeah.
90210 or whatever.
90210.
8471.
Okay.
8471,
90210, they're all like-
8472.
Species 90210.
We're
they're
crossing
I
the
missed my
streams.
planning appointment, and like that really sucks.
Yeah. It's going to bring if they bring Ezra and Thrawn back together because they're technically together.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And
Oh, what if they
and the
come
thing
back and
is,
they're buddies? No, I'm just
I
kidding.
mean, I do. Well, no, I mean that could be really cool if, in terms of like, okay, well, we're no longer villains, or we're no longer like against
that
each other
conflict.
because now we are removed from normal space.
All of
Where
And
I'm no
Ahsoka
longer-
was looking for Thrawn.
yeah, well, and those HK droids did have Seventh Fleet printed on their head, which is Thrawn's fleet was the 7th Fleet. They Morgan Elsbeth was apparently, he was her master. Yeah, they teased a bunch of stuff with that.
Ooh, we're going full comic book guy now, you guys. This is amazing. I love it.
Nerds.
I know, nerds.
Fancy finding nerds here.
Yeah, all good stuff. But so
Chuck,
yeah,
I
so
think you're
what,
talking. I can't hear you.
You can't check. Can you
Okay,
hear
no, I
me?
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out. Go ahead.
no, you.
I was saying Sabine for Ezra too. So what happens when they finally meet up? Is he Peter Parker and he hasn't aged and she's aged like 15 years?
Didn't Sabine team up with Ahsoka at the end of Rebels?
Yeah, I mean, they implied that they were going
Yeah.
to go off together.
Yeah,
and search
because
for him.
Ahsoka came out in the white robe. I remember this because I
Right.
was there. I was at Disney Animation
I'm
Studios
Ahsoka the
for that.
I remember
Yeah.
her in the white robe.
Ahsoka the White. Yeah. She Gandalfed her so hard.
We're saying that
That's right.
Thrawn find Ezra
So
because why would Ahsoka care to find Thrawn?
yeah, that was
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she wants to find Ezra.
What's up?
Because she wants to find Ezra, maybe.
Exactly. That's what I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
It's going to be so interesting too, because I mean, as far as I understand it, like Filoni, this is Filoni's, like the whole 8-episode series is his, right?
Filoni verse.
So it's going to be
Nice.
like that kind of pensive, very philosophical, very mythic tone.
I'm
that,
so excited.
Peter Griffin said Ezra would be a much better trainer for Grogu than Luke, and I'm not inclined to agree with that.
I you know what? I think so too, because he had that kind of rebellious upstart thing, and Grogu is bad baby. So,
What if Ezra comes back and he leans into the dark side because Sabine is dead? Yeah.
Well, there was hints that Ezra was going to lean to the dark side.
with Darth Maul, yeah.
He
I mean,
opened
is-
the
He's definitely
holocron and
much more like prone to his passions
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
other-
if there
other
wa- if
Jedi
there
as
ever
well.
was an argument for Gray Jedi,
Yeah,
or like
and
a
he
Grey
did
Force
resist the
user,
Emperor, right? He
Ezra.
did resist the Emperor, but there's still some dark inclinations in there, right?
Okay, so here's my
what we love about him, man.
my big wish list that I don't think I will get, but I would love live action Bendu.
Thank you. I don't think I'll get it, but I would.
Yeah,
I could.
How
I'd be
would
so
they-
happy
but
if
like
he
but
did
like
that.
knowing Ahsoka, he'll probably use Ahsoka to kind of deep dive into kind of more crazier parts of the Force.
I would love two
There's
things.
an opportunity there, right?
Live action Bendu and Force Ghost Kanan, and I don't know if we'll get either of those,
Oh.
but
And
I
then-
would love that.
If
Hera?
it's a Force
Freddie
Ghost
Prinze
Kanan, it
Jr.
has to be
Freddie
what's his
Prinze.
name? Freddie Prinze Jr. It
Yeah,
has
bring
to be.
back Freddie Prinze.
So great.
Bring back Buffy's
And
husband.
I forgot. Hera has a
Mommy, the
son.
mommy of the internet and the daddy of the internet.
Hera has a son too, right? Who could, I mean, maybe Force
That's right,
sensitive.
Jason Solo, or not
Yeah.
Jason Solo, Jason Syndulla, right?
Syndulla, yeah.
Yeah.
Put a
I
green
like
wig on a kid. Like, why does he have green hair? Because he's part Twilight.
We had to make him look like his mom somehow.
Does he have like one little head tail?
Right.
Oh my god, like a man bun, but
Yes,
like
like
a
a man buried under his green hair.
Ew!
That said, we should wrap so you guys can have your show back.
And I need more vodka, so
This was great conversation.
Always
This was great
a pleasure.
conversation, guys.
Always a pleasure.
Close on head tail man buns.
What are you guys talking about today?
We're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that's right. There was a new trailer drop today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Rogan involvement.
And we're coming up on Oscars too, right?
We are
Are you
coming up.
tying
Wait,
Teenage
is
Mutant
Teenage
Ninja Turtles
Mutant
to
Ninja Turtles?
Oscars, Andy?
yeah.
Are you tying the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to
Yeah,
Oscars?
Donatello's up for an Oscar.
We
Awesome.
should.
I'm
Wrap-
just saying, Oscar season is upon us too.
Did
so-
you guys have like the little pizza gun? It would like fit like shot pizza discs. Did you guys have that
That's
as
right.
a kid?
I never
I
had
still
that.
have it.
Do you? Ours
have
is
all my
somewhere in a
old action
box. I
figures, yeah.
swear.
Yeah, I still got them all.
For all
Mondo,
that
Gecko,
and
all
more,
those guys, yeah.
for all that and more, stick around and check out Geek Beast. They'll continue talking about that. Please follow the Geekish Network on YouTube and Facebook, and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for joining us here on Monday nights. We'll be back talking about more Bad Batch and Mandalorian as they continue to drop episodes on us. Also, we want to see all of your Star Wars creations. Do you cosplay? Do you make fan films? Build droids? Build models? Sell stuff on Etsy? Show us how Star Wars has inspired you, and we just might feature you on the show. Hey, actually, and if you're planning to go to Star Wars Night at Disneyland, let us know. I want to see your photos. I want to see what other photo ops, because I don't want to spend $150 on another
I'm not
ticket
even
to
in
Disneyland.
California, so please,
So,
guys, like I want to live
would-
vicariously through
Yes.
you.
We would like to live vicariously through you.
I'm
Thanks again.
poor.
Thanks again to Rodney on the flight deck. And of course, we are the Pod Squadron. Please check out all of our content on podsquadron.com. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All the subscriptions are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. I am the Chinese Pirate at Chinese Pirate _ on all platforms.
I am Tracy, the hot nerd girl, and I have to pee.
And Lexi, Pharaoh Geek Aesthetic on Instagram, Pharaoh Geek on Facebook. And what I have in common with Tracy tonight is that I too have to pee.
Right? Thank you.
beyondforever.net, Beyond Forever Studios, and I too must urinate.
Thank you.
Full hearts, full bladders. Thank you so much.
I'm not kidding. I
And
really
stick
do. I drink a
around.
lot of water, so yeah.
And once again, stick around for Geek Beast. Check out Chuck and Johnny as they continue talking about all the things geek and, of course, some turtle power. All wings return to base, course laden, and prepare to make the jump to light speed on my mark. And remember, the truths we cling to depend on our own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night.
Bye.